How would you like to improve your health and keep your family safe? You're listening to the Healthy Home Hacks podcast, where we firmly believe enjoying optimal health shouldn't be a luxury. Healthy Home Authorities and husband and wife team Ron and Lisa will help you create a home environment that will level up your health. It's time to hear from the experts. Listen in on honest conversations and gain the best tips and advice. If you're ready to dive in and improve your well-being and increase your energy, you're in the right place. All right, here are your hosts, bowel biologists, authors, media darlings, vicarious vegans, and avocado aficionados, Ron and Lisa Barris.
This episode of Healthy Home Hacks is brought to you by Airs Tech. Are you worried about electromagnetic fields in your environment? Do you want to rest easier knowing that you're protecting yourself and your family from dangerous radiation emitted from wireless devices in and around your home and office? Try LifeTune products made by Airs Tech. Peer-reviewed and backed by science, Airs Tech patented EMF modulation technology keeps you connected without the negative biological effects. Equip your phone, laptop, home, and even your pet with their easy-to-use solutions. Coexist with technology and visit Airs Tech, that's AIRES Tech.com to learn more and use code RL30OFF, that's RL30OFF, to save 30% of your entire purchase.
You can have the best deadbolt locks, the most secure windows, and the loudest alarm, and still be in mortal danger. What from? Your house. Bad air, toxic household products, and everyday materials that we take for granted could literally be making us and our loved ones sick. And it is.
That's right, Ron. Most of us carefully watch what we put into our mouths and on our bodies. But when it comes to maintaining a healthy home, this can often be overlooked. A study published in the journal Environmental Science and Technology found the average house, get this guys, may contain as many as 400 chemicals. Some of them toxic, many untested. So how can we protect ourselves and our children from these adverse health effects? And why is it so important today? Well, for starters, approximately 25 million Americans have asthma. This is about 1 in 13 Americans. We breathe 20,000 breaths and inhale 3,400 gallons of air on average each day. The average home collects 40 pounds of dust a year. And we spend 1/3 of our lives sleeping. And get this, studies reveal the average pillow, okay, this is a complete ooh factor, the average pillow contains millions of fungal spores with 4 to 16 different species per pillow tested.
Oh, well, that's enough to make anyone's skin crawl. Our guest today is going to help us sleep more soundly and safely. A lifelong allergy and asthma sufferer from Austin, Texas, Robin Wilson was fortunate to have a holistic pediatrician who told her parents, you can raise a strong child or a child on strong medicine. So true. Her parents implemented this guidance with diet modifications, interior design alterations, and exercise instead of steroid medications. Today, Robin has created a protocol for wellness with protective coverings and cotton textiles in bed and bath. She is a U.S. lifestyle brand author, designer, and real estate developer, the entrepreneurial founder of a licensed brand focused on clean design protocols, named to Inc. magazine's Female Founders 100 list in 2020. She is a world-class thought leader.
Robin's clean home design line is now in Macy's in 168 stores and online. She is a 2-time #1 Amazon bestselling author and has been featured on multiple news and TV segments, including HGTV's Selling New York. Robin's life mission is to help the 60 million Americans who suffer from allergies or asthma. That's 1 in 4 people, guys. With her clean design protocol developed during the COVID pandemic, Robin works to educate consumers about hypoallergenic, sustainable, and eco-friendly lifestyle options. She is here to help us upgrade our own personal ecosystem, our homes. Welcome to the show, Robin.
Well, thank you for being with us, Robin. This is so exciting.
I'm really excited because so many people don't have a solution. They know the problem, but they don't have a solution. And I hope tonight we can give some people a solution-based conversation so that they can make their home a healthier space. And more importantly, they'll know where to go and what to buy when they get there.
Right. That's right. We're not just fear mongering here, guys, even though some of those statistics were. Robin's got solutions. And I love that, Robin. A lot of people, we talk about this a lot on the show, are medicated and taking all these allergy and asthma medications and masking symptoms. And you're like, hey, let's get to the bottom. And that's what we're going to do today. So let's dive right in.
I'm so excited because this is timely. This is one of those moments where we don't want to think about the average time frame you've slept on your pillow.
No,
right?
We don't want to think about that.
If you ask most people, they'll say 6 years. And you're like, that's 6 years of drool, dandruff, pet dander, pollen.
And that's on a good day. That's a good day, Robin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think the first place to start, of course, is your pillow, because that's the easy button.
Yeah, that study that I referenced on the fungal spores, the 16 different, was from the University of Manchester. And I wanted to give a shout out to that because a lot of people, like you said, they might take their pillow on their trips too, right? They're traveling with it too. And that is disgusting. And it makes me think of the hotel pillows too. Ron and I travel with our own little organic baby pillow because just what you said, Robin, yeah, they replace their pillows more often, but oh my God, these are different strangers every night drooling on that pillow. They're washing just the pillowcase. They're only washing the pillowcase.
Well, at least hotels change their pillows more frequently than we do, right? So that's the thing. So let me just talk about pillows for a minute. The average time frame for people to keep a pillow is 6 years.
Okay.
That means it's toxic. Let's go there. And one of the things that we suggest is something called the rule of threes. So that means you wash your linens on a weekly basis, we hope.
We hope.
But
some days we miss that, Robin.
We all do, you know. Yeah. So there's layers in a bed. So there's a rule of threes. So if you think about your mattress, the inside of the mattress being something, whether it's coils or foam, that's layer one. Then you have the mattress cover.
Right.
Then you have the mattress protector, and then you have your sheeting material for top of bed. So that's 3 layers to protect the inside of the mattress from getting the dust mites or the skin cells that might penetrate into the mattress. Again, you keep your mattress for like 20 years. So you've got to have those 3 layers. But now you go to your pillow. And you've got in the pillow a hypoallergenic pillow, hopefully not feathers if you have allergies because of the oils and whatever other issues you might have from feathers. But if you have a down alternative pillow, think surgical gauze, right? If you're allergic to surgical gauze, you're going to probably be in a bubble. So a down alternative pillow, fluffy stuff inside is layer one.
Okay.
Then you have the pillow cover over the pillow. And then you put a zippered pillow protector over that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your pillowcase.
Your pillowcase. Okay. So that's
3 layers.
3 layers. Okay.
Right?
People aren't doing that.
Exactly. They just have the pillow and then they have a pillowcase. So I say the rule of threes for cleaning. So now every week, wash your linens, but every 3 weeks, wash that zippered pillowcase.
Yeah.
Then every 3 months, if you can, wash the actual pillow. Make sure you put tennis balls in the dryer so you don't have a lumpy pillow.
Right.
And then every 3 years, if you haven't done that, replace the pillow.
Okay.
I like your rule of 3, but shouldn't we just wash it all at the same time then? Like, did I wash this 2 weeks ago? And what do you think, Robin?
She's trying not to be strict.
I'm not trying to be strict. It's giving you a solution, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
And if you want to just say every season, you're going to wash your pillow. Just like you might do your battery change. every 3 months.
I like the season. That's easy to remember. We advise people to change their furnace filter and their HVAC system every season, which is every 3 months. And that's even according to the EPA. So, hey, while you're doing that, you got to get in a little
clean your bed.
routine. Just be clean, people.
Exactly.
Stop being dirty.
Exactly. And the lexicon, the pandemic happened in 2020. And if you really think about the lexicon of home, it changed. All of a sudden, everyone was saying, you got to be clean.
Yeah.
And
sanitize.
You have to have a well-designed backdrop for your Zoom calls or your remote meetings.
And you do, Robin. Very nice. We talked about your bookcase. Very nice.
Well, I'll digress on that in a second. And then, of course, home became a place you might be trapped. So make sure you like furniture and it's non-toxic. And you have a home office that you can at least vent out so that your VOCs from your printer are at least venting out with either a fan or an open window. And so all of a sudden, the lexicon of home changed. And that's why your show is so important, I think, for people to really understand that if you look at your home as your sanctuary, it's simple things. Take off your shoes when you come in the front door so you're not tracking whatever you stepped on.
Well, on that, Robin, they did a study, University of Arizona, which is my alma mater. They did a study on what people are bringing in on the bottom of their shoes. And they found 60% of household dust is actually coming in from the bottom of our shoes. 60. And they found lead, DDT, a very toxic pesticide that's been banned for decades, and fecal matter. I mean, a lot of really horrible stuff that we don't want to be bringing in our home. So I love that tip. Take off your shoes at the front door, create maybe like a shelf or some kind of system where everybody can get into the habit of taking off their shoes. And I have indoor flip-flops. We're in California, so I can wear flip-flops, but it could be slippers, whatever. Have like that indoor pair of shoes that never goes outside and then just wear those. Yeah.
I have another factoid too, which is interesting. So according to the Boston Globe, of the billions of skin cells, between 30,000 to 40,000 of them fall off every hour. In over a 24-hour period, we lose almost 1 million skin cells. Can you believe that?
No.
I can. And people want to say, well, I don't want to have dust mites. Well, dust mites eat, they eat the dust.
So skin cells,
we're going to have dust mites. And if you didn't lose your skin cells, your skin would be bark and it would be hard like a tree. So that's the old saying, after 6 or 7 years, you're a totally new person. You've lost all your skin cells and you're a new person. So I think the bottom line for your home is it's simple things that you can do on a day-to-day basis. And digressing to the bookcase, right? So one of the things I talked about years and years ago is that if you think about, and as you mentioned, the chemicals in your home, if you asked yourself, would you raise a baby in a chemical factory? The answer universally is going to be no. But then I say to people, well, clean doesn't smell like a fake pine forest.
Right, exactly.
I'm just going to say that.
You can't buy fresh air in a can.
Clean is clean. And it can't be sprayed. You can't spray a couch clean. So that means you need to clean on a regular basis, get that vacuum cleaner out, the suction vac, and suction the couch clean. Try to, if you have a zippered pillow cushion on your couch, take that off, get that cleaned every once in a while. You can actually replace foam in cushions. Most people don't know that. And take that old foam out if you need to and put fresh foam in. It'll make a world of difference in the smell on your couch.
Yeah. It's interesting, Robin, just having this conversation and realizing like how much people wouldn't dare not have a new outfit for their event or their reunion or whatever, or their date night, maybe even, or an office meeting. Yet we neglect these things that we, like you're saying, we spend the most time in our bed. And how many people, be honest, you guys, you listeners, when was the last time, ask yourself, when was the last time you washed your pillow, if ever? When was the last time you vacuumed your mattress? That's another good thing you can do, right? Vacuum when you strip the bed. When was the last time you got a new mattress? People hang on to their mattresses way too long and their pillows. And I want to go back to the pillow again, because there was a study from Ohio State University that revealed a typical used mattress may have 100,000 up to 10 million dust mites inside. They also note that 10% of the weight of a 2-year-old pillow can be composed of dead dust mites and their droppings. Ew. It sounds like one of those urban legends. And I actually thought it was too, because I'd heard that quote for years. And nope, the Ohio State University actually did discover that in a study. So your pillow gets heavier, not just from the dust mites, but from the dust mite droppings. So if that doesn't encourage you to, I don't know what will.
It's a simple thing. There's something called a pillow test. So if you fold your pillow in half and it stays in place, it's immediately time to get rid of your pillow. You might say, oh, I like a flat pillow. If you fold the pillow in half and it doesn't bounce back, then you've got your pillow actually weighs more now than when you bought it.
Ew.
So
I'm going to try that after this interview.
Exactly.
My pillow's not too old.
We have a whole line at Macy's called Clean Design Home X Martex. And the entire line is hypoallergenic luxury. And all too often, hypoallergenic and luxury weren't in the same sentence, right? So you would say, well, I want a sheet that feels really good. And they call it the hand. I want it to really feel good. And so we've used tech to make this happen. It's woven at a 0.3 to a 0.5 micron. So even though it is 400 thread count, it's such a tight weave, it feels like a higher thread count.
Oh,
so that's
wow.
number one.
Okay.
Number two, we have the low lint towels. So that means lint creates dust or attracts dust. So a low lint towel is a Supima cotton towel. And that means the cotton was grown in Texas or California. So we're actually supporting the American farmer.
Oh, that's great.
That's amazing.
Right? And they do send it to mills overseas to be made, but it's a low lint because it's a long strand cotton. We also have the robes, quilts, etc., that are in the marketplace. And our goal initially was to bring this at an affordable price point for the consumer. But, and we've done that, but what we didn't realize is how much it would resonate with the consumer.
Wow. Okay.
So we learned some statistics in the last couple of weeks that 90% of the new customers coming into Macy's were coming for this line.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
There isn't a brand right now that's the hypoallergenic brand, except Clean Design Home.
Wow.
And so we not only sell at Macy's, but Belk's just picked it up.
Okay, congrats.
A store in the UK picked it up, and Japan picked it up, which makes me making history, the first Black global licensed textile brand.
Oh my goodness. Shout out.
Great job.
That is incredible. Bravo.
For those of you not seeing that, I love to do a little dance. It was nice. It was very good.
love it. We're doing dances. If you can't see us, we're happy dancing.
That whole other side of it, as a woman of color, my grandfather was actually a sharecropper. His parents would have been slaves, and they picked cotton. And now I have a luxury cotton brand sold to consumers.
Wow.
And what a wonderful tribute that people are open to this luxury brand, because it's a Horatio Alger story, right? It's a wonderful thing for my ancestors, hopefully, to be saying,
they're smiling.
They are
full
smiling.
circle.
Wonderful thing.
Yeah, that's so incredible. I love the lint-free towel idea. I mean, that's a huge problem, right? That no one listening has a towel that hasn't battled lint. So I've never heard of that.
I don't think any towel is free of lint, but low lint.
Low lint, okay.
You know,
got me sold.
We talk about what's the right thing. When you look at your home as a whole, if you look at indoor air quality, it can be 6 to 8 times worse. So that goes back to the chemical factory thing. So that means maybe you're using bathroom cleaner, then you're using oven cleaner, then you're washing your dishes, or maybe even using a gas cooktop, and you don't open the windows or turn on the fan. And all those chemicals are just bubbling up. Plus your home office, where you have the VOCs coming from your ink. I recommend at least once a day, open your windows for at least 5 minutes, just to let fresh air in, and or turn on your bathroom fan or your range hood fan for 5 or 10 minutes. Again, in the Northeast, it can be 26 degrees. So I'm not saying open your windows, let all your heat out, because that's inefficient. But But if you can, just
for 5 minutes,
air circulate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, air out that house. I mean, the house is an extension of us. It is, Ron and I always call it the umbrella to our home. Indoor air quality is the umbrella to our home. So especially with the green building and the energy efficiency, we have tightened the building envelope so much so that our homes aren't breathing like they used to back in the olden days where homes were drafty and you did have a better circulation. And then now you have more toxic chemicals coming into the home through cleaning products and furniture and your personal care products and all of this stuff, all of it, your appliances, all of that. So if we don't allow our homes to breathe and circulate, where are these chemicals going to go? They're going to go into our lungs and we're going to be breathing them in.
Oh, we have a book called Clean Design Wellness for Your Lifestyle that during the pandemic started selling again. So it was just like this. And that's why we actually rebranded our licensed product to Clean Design Home. But in that book, I think it's page 68 or 69, somewhere in there, my grandmother happened to have been a housekeeper back in the 50s, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I found her book. You couldn't go to the store and get a cleaning product. So you had to have your recipes, for lack of a better word.
Right.
So I just want to give y'all some simple tips.
Yes,
that
do.
You are filled with tips, Robin. We love that. Our listeners do too. Great job.
Okay.
You are our people.
So here's 3 things you may not know. This is the did you know moment. Did you know toothpaste can clean crayon off the wall?
No.
Oh, you just made a lot of mamas very happy.
I know. Did you know that Coca-Cola, if you pour it in your toilet overnight, that ring will get cleaned up?
Wow.
Oh, that's what you use it for.
Wait, that just shows you how bad it is. That just shows you how bad it is to be drinking.
Yeah, don't put it inside of you necessarily.
Yeah, exactly.
Pour it in the toilet.
To your toilet.
If it's really, really bad, overnight, and let that acid really work on it. You might have to use another cleanser afterward, but it's going to loosen it up a little bit for you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Number 3.
Robin likes 3s.
I like 3s. I like 3s.
Good number.
You know, this is the silly one, right? If you have a limited budget and you need furniture, and you don't want furniture that's off-gassing or disposable because you want to be eco-conscious, my digression, look behind me at this wonderful 10-foot long by 9-foot tall bookcase. It was $300. Why? Because it used to be brown.
Wow.
It's amazing.
So many people don't want brown furniture. So they walk by their antique shop or I'll call it the secondhand shop. Like, oh, I don't like that. But they don't realize they can get chalk paint, use a thin satin coat of polyurethane on top, and they might have a totally new piece of
Now you're speaking my wife's language. She is an ex-designer.
I love it. Well, before the show, guys, listeners, before the show, Robin came on camera and I was like, oh my God, I love that bookcase. It reminds me of Ron and I used to watch the Oprah on the OWN network. She had the behind the scenes after her show ended. I don't know if you ever watched it, but it was such a good show. And she always had the meetings in her office. She just had this gorgeous white bookcase behind her desk. And I always was like, oh, that's the best bookcase ever. And yours looks like that. I mean, it looks so high end. It looks new. And you would never know when you showed that picture of it being brown not that long ago.
I had to paint it. So
you did it yourself?
I did it myself because it was during COVID. And I went to a secondhand place, and it's a wonderful place in the Northeast called Renovation Angel. And they actually help people because they give you a tax break. They take your old piece out, your old kitchen out, and then they resell it to people. And part of it's not for profit because I guess there's some charity that they work with. But instead of that kitchen going into a landfill, they'll pick it up anywhere in the country.
Really?
They resell
to
it.
Your home in the Northeast.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love it.
$300 for brown furniture. That means it's already off-gassed, people.
Yep.
That means it's real wood.
Real wood. Yeah.
Yep. This is not big box, cheap, disposable.
Formaldehyde-laden particle board.
Exactly.
What's the name? Yeah, let's give a little. I'm going to put this in the show notes. What's the name of the company?
Renovation Angel.
Angel. What a great name.
Yep.
You know, it reminds me of here in California, we have a place called Furnishing Hope. They actually do something similar where they furnish homes for vets who are, what is it called? wounded vets, and they get donations from people. And it started where they would refinish the furniture themselves and then provide it so people could donate and they refinish it. Then they kind of got into getting a lot of donations from some big box brands that donate. And they're a nonprofit and they have big showroom here in Orange County. And so if you're on the East Coast, you can check out Renovation Angel. And if you're on the West Coast, you can check out Furnishing Hope. I love that. I love that we're repurposing these things. They're being used again. They have stories, they have history, they have personality, right? And then we're helping people in the process. I think it's amazing.
Speaking of stories and background, I love Robin's stories so far and everything, and all your tips, right? But can you tell us where your passion came from? Like when you decided to focus on hypoallergenic, sustainable, eco-friendly home goods and wellness, how did that all start? Where did that come from, Robin?
Well, we all have an origin story, and mine is Austin, Texas. I would call myself pan-allergic. So I was allergic to animal dander, pollen, smoke, dust, certain foods. So bubble child, right? And this
Are you a canary, Robin?
I'm the canary in the coal
I am
mine.
too, Robin.
So I'm a kid of the 70s. And so that's when people were drinking Tang instead of orange juice. And they were drinking Hawaiian punch instead of grape juice. And so my parents went to a hippie doctor, which today we might call a holistic doctor. And this doctor, think about Malcolm Gladwell with the 10,000 hours to become an expert in something. This doctor was like, you have to change the shag carpet, go back to tile or hardwood floors. Your pet has to go outside. You're not going to eat a lot of red meat. Now I'm in Texas, okay?
Yeah, you're like, where am I going to get that?
So everybody thought my mother was insane. The shoes had to come off at the front door. People had to smoke outside. Like this was just like,
yeah, that's when people were smoking in restaurants, right? I mean, it was like no big deal to sit next to a smoker.
The airplanes. Right?
Did they smoke on airplanes?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, they thought she was crazy. But if you look at my friends who maybe their doctors were telling them, take the steroid medication, be a couch potato, don't exert yourself.
Right.
If you look at them today and you look at me today, my doctor was like, do all these environmental things, change your diet, and you're going to run, walk, bike, play tennis, and swim because your lungs have to get strong.
Yeah.
Now, I might be wheezing at the end and sneezing at the end, but at the end of the day, you're seeing what's happening to COVID patients who don't have strong lungs.
Right. Don't want to wait until you're hit.
And that doesn't mean you're foolproof. What it does mean, though, is that every one of us have to remember what we're inhaling affects our total body biome. What we eat affects our gut bacteria biome. And what we touch and feel, those chemicals that we place everywhere. And we do have chemicals. Remember, people say, I don't want to have any chemicals. You have to, or you're going to have ants in your house, okay? You're going to have crabgrass on your lawn, but don't track it in your house, right? If you're going to use a pesticide, you could put things like, what is it?
You can use coffee grounds. You can use coffee grounds.
You can use coffee grounds. You can use salt,
vinegar,
cayenne pepper specifically.
Yes.
You can use cinnamon. There are things you can put in different places and confuse ants. You can confuse other vermin.
Yes.
And they will stay away.
Yeah. Diatomaceous earth is a really good one. You get the food grade diatomaceous earth, and that's good for the insects with an exoskeleton, which would be your cockroach family and your variety. And it's non-toxic for you. We're all about that, Robin. And you're making me think about a study that was done by George Washington University that found 45 toxins in household dust. And this study was published in the journal Environmental Science and Technology. And the toxins that they found in these average samples included flame retardants, plasticizers, solvents, and preservatives. And according to the study, any household dust sample that they took contained 10 or more harmful substances, including health risks associated with cancer and reproductive damage, respiratory, behavioral, and neurodevelopmental problems. So what you're saying is so true. This isn't just about, oh, I'm OCD and I need my house clean all the time. This is like a health issue. This cleanliness is a health issue.
Well, also think about, I tell ladies this, guys too, but you go on vacation and you come back and everybody's like, oh, you look so great. You look so rested. The circles are gone. So even though hotels have multiple people with hotels on the pillow, they still have the liners and they still change the pillows more frequently than we do at home. Let's say they change it every 3 months. We change it every 6 years, right?
Okay. Is that the rule of thumb? Is it 3 months for hotels typically?
It depends on the door. Some do 3 months, some wash them at 3 months. It just depends on what the rules are. But think about this. We know they change them at least once a year. We know that. So you go away on vacation, you come back, you're so rested, your circles are gone. 3 days later, you slept in your old pillow.
Yeah.
The circles are back.
Yeah.
It might be your pillow.
That's when you stop and you fold your pillow. And you
do the
the
fold
test.
pillow
Does it bounce
test.
back?
Does it
And you say, oh my gosh, it weighs more than when I bought it.
Robin, I love what you said at the beginning about the down pillows being a real problem for people with down allergies. I had that, and a lot of people don't know it. So unless you've actually had an environmental allergy test done by a doctor, the prick test, you wouldn't know it. And so I was sleeping on a feather down pillow for years and years, waking up constantly with sinus issues and congested, till I finally realized, wait a minute, my pillow. Now I sleep on an organic pillow, but that made a huge difference. So I would suggest look at that pillow. And now your line doesn't include pillows, just the protectors, correct?
Nope, we have pillows.
Oh, you
we
have
pillow
pillows.
protectors.
Ah,
We have
nice.
comforters, sheets,
Okay.
towels,
Wow.
robes, and more to be announced very soon.
Ooh, she's got some.
Oh,
And we
very
just, in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we're going to announce our new mattress line.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
The whole
Robin.
story.
Oh
the
my
whole
God.
sleep story.
Because we have so many people today with allergies and asthma, as we said at the top of the show. It's crazy. It never was like this. I mean, you had it, and you had an incredible mother and doctor who were so ahead of the game. But we're seeing these allergies getting worse and worse and worse as time goes on. So something we get asked a lot, Robin, is does the type of pillow matter based on what kind of sleeper you are, whether you're a back, a stomach, a side? Can you shed some light on that?
What if you're a side and a stomach sleeper?
Yes, it does. So I would say that the flatter your pillow, so there's typically a soft, a medium, and a firm. That's the way to look at pillows. A soft pillow is better for a back sleeper. Sort of think about it, allowing your back, your head isn't too angled, which is very bad for straining your back. Think about a middle or medium-sized pillow or medium firmness pillow for a side or a stomach sleeper. And if you are just a side sleeper, you might want to go with a firm pillow. Most people will select the medium pillow. All of our pillows are medium. And the reason for that is most people start off one way at night, but during the night, it is natural. You see babies do this.
Yeah.
They curl up when they're in their deepest sleep, and they're typically on their side.
Yeah.
Are you calling me a baby, Robin?
I'm saying you
Yes, I will.
sleep like a baby. It's
You
you
sleep like a baby.
Good recovery. Nice.
You're right, though. That's nothing worse than having a pillow that's too high and you wake up and you're like, you got this.
Like crick in your neck.
Yeah.
One other thing we should talk about is endocrine disruptors. You brought that up very briefly, but your shower curtain. We actually also have an Amazon store. We won a women entrepreneur incubator with Amazon. So it's amazon.com/clean design home. We have shower curtains that are made out of polyester or nylon. We have various things, but phthalates are in vinyl shower curtains. That is a known endocrine disruptor. And a lot of people wonder sometimes why they can't get pregnant. Just saying. I have a baby girl. I call her a baby, but she's almost 10. But there was a minute there where it was a little challenging to have her. And I learned about phthalates and endocrine disruptors, got rid of my vinyl shower curtain, put a nylon shower curtain in, which, by the way, that's what hospitals use because they are less attractive to mildew. It's like pantyhose, right? You can wash them. And very quickly, there you go. That's the story. But I want people to look at their shower curtain or their liner and try to go polyester or nylon.
Yeah. That's such a great point, Robin. Those phthalates are, and for listeners who don't know what they are, they're an endocrine disruptor, meaning they mess with our hormonal system and they soften plastic. And they're also used in fragrances to linger the fragrance, but they soften plastic. So when you think of like vinyl, polyvinyl chloride, how do they get it so soft? That's phthalates that's doing that, but they off gas. They're volatile. They get airborne. These phthalates actually end up in our household dust too. So yeah, so you're not just getting it that moment that you're in the bathroom. And Robin, speaking of that, even the vinyl floors have been shown in studies to release phthalates at a very high level into the air. The actual vinyl floor. Some floors look like vinyl, but they're not vinyl. Like, what's it called? What's that brand? It uses linseed. Some of the vinyl floors, the soft.
Oh, you're talking about the old fashioned linseed oil is what most people would, goodness gracious, as soon as you said that, it's made of linseed oil. It's a historical company,
Marmolium. Yeah.
Originally.
Yeah.
The original was made of linseed oil. And if it's from the 1930s, you can still put more linseed oil and it looks great. There was a takeoff of that is made of vinyl plastic. And that is not good for you.
Yeah. Linoleum, right?
Linoleum. Right. But linoleum, marmolium are the same.
You two are mind linked.
We are mind linked.
Right? If they're made of vinyl, which is they've tried to hide it, they call it LVT, luxury vinyl tile. That's vinyl. And it's going to off gas. I also tell people, if you can get a rug, an area rug for your entire room, a 14, let's say by 10 rug, and it costs $9.99, it's probably a petroleum-based rug. Careful about that. Remember, your baby's crawling on that and then they're licking their hands. I'd rather you all day get a jute rug or a wool sisal type rug because those are not treated other than maybe a very light coating. It's a protector. It's not oil-based because if it were, it would break down the
on a natural. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great tip. So speaking of, what chemicals and toxins do your products not contain? Since we're talking about all these.
So this is the important question for everyone. Can you tell the difference between organic cotton and non-organic cotton?
Not when you look at it.
That's correct. There are people who are spending extra money on organic cotton products. And guess what? There's not enough organic cotton in the world to make all those products. What I tell people our products do, we use cotton, period. And we do hyperwashing of that cotton. Hyperwashing means that it's to surgical levels like the gauze that you have when you have a wound at the hospital. That is not organic cotton, it's cotton. And so just buy our product for two reasons. It's hyperwashed, number one. Number two, it's certified by the Better Cotton Initiative, meaning they actually test it. It's Okotex certified, which means any of the dyes are approved and tested and approved. And most importantly, our packaging. We're not using vinyl packaging.
Right. I read that you
can buy the best product in the whole wide world. It comes in a vinyl package. And guess what? During that 3 months it was sitting in a warehouse baking and cooling, when I know there's going to be some level of phthalates that's now in that product, embedded in that product.
Yeah, they actually, on a side note, they found very high levels of phthalates in chickens because the chicken feed was being stored in these big plastic bags, right? So you think it's not getting into you through these ways, but I love that. And I like how you mentioned the Okotex certification that you have. We actually had Ben Mead. He's the head of the North America for Okotex. And we had him on the podcast. I'll put a link to that in the show notes for anybody who wants to learn more about that, because it's a really stringent certification that is really incredible for the environment, making sure that those chemicals aren't being used in the production and getting back into our waterways and all of that.
There was a study, I think it was in the New York Times this past week, and it said, this is gross, that based upon the plastic drink bottles, even if you're in a restaurant and you say, oh, I don't want tap water, they'll pour it from a plastic bottle, right?
Yeah.
Not a glass bottle, not like the olden days.
On the airplane, yep.
Exactly, airplanes too. They said that on average, I think it's every week or every month, we're eating a credit card's worth of plastic.
Oh, I just heard
Huge
that too.
study just
Yes.
came out.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
And
Yes.
We have
And it's like our gut
microplastics.
biome is being affected by this and this, that, and the other. So there's nothing we can do about that unless we're being very brand efficient. I'll just leave it like that. But one of the things I have talked to doctors about, because at a certain point, that is getting in you. So I had some joint issues recently. I was like, do I have arthritis? I'm like, no,
you have a credit card in your finger.
Right. I have a credit card in my fingers. And so it's like, oh, okay. So I said, what can I do? And they said, gallons of water, basically. And the way is either filtration water, or it's better to, if you have a water bubbler in your house with the gigantic bottles versus the little throwaway bottles. And I said, why? And they said, because it's just one surface with 5 gallons versus, a lot of little bottles.
Right.
So I bought I won't endorse the company, but I bought what I call a lower level bubbler. I push the bottle in and it comes, instead of me having to put it on top, which I found was too heavy for me.
So heavy.
And so the other thing is they told me to start doing something called CoQ10, and it's a natural herbal thing. Yeah. And so I started doing that.
I think it's an enzyme, right?
Coenzyme.
Yeah.
And I guess it breaks down certain things that don't belong in your body and helps improve.
Sounds like we all need that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Oh, that's great, Robin. Yeah, Ron had suffered from gout for many years and so kind of battled with the joint issue.
More hereditary too. I know it's typically associated with drinking heavy amounts of alcohol, but not for me. It basically, for whatever reason,
and heavy foods, rich food.
Rich food, protein. Yeah, so
high protein. Yeah. But we're vegan now, and we've been vegan for 6 years. And since we went vegan, Ron's, I'm sorry, listeners, you probably heard the story a million times. I feel like the story comes up all the time.
Hey, I didn't mention it. You did.
God.
So that's
They're
good.
like,
that's
we
good.
know. We know you're vegan and we know Ron had gout. But honestly, his diet cleaned that out too, because, we were doing heavy amounts of protein, the pollution from a lot of the seafood and sadly, a lot of the food we eat is so polluted too. So listen, we're all struggling wherever we are. Even vegan, you have to be careful. It's just being cognizant of what you're ingesting, what you're putting on your body. It's not about living in the bubble, but kind of reducing that body burden and that body load. We here at our home, we have a water filtration system and we use glass containers, kind of like what you're doing, reducing that amount of like plastic exposure. And hey, every little bit, I'm all about baby steps, people. Just, don't beat yourself up. We're all doing the best we can.
Exactly. And as we close out tonight, I just want to thank you so much for having me on your show. And just to say, just like Bombas Socks has a social justice mission, we have one for Clean Design Home. And we just launched it a couple of weeks ago with Joe Torre, the famous Yankees manager.
Oh, okay. Wow.
He has a foundation called Safe at Home Foundation. And they actually have a network of safe houses for domestic violence survivors. And many people leave their DV situations with just the clothing on their back and maybe a couple of suitcases and their children's things. And so I said, why don't we make sure they have a safe bed? And so as you buy Clean Design Home products, we actually give lilac sheets. It's called Project Lilac on our website, cleandesignhome.com. We give lilac sheets away to this organization. They distribute it to their network of safe houses. So when someone arrives, they have their own set of sheets for their children and themselves that they can take with them that they own.
Oh
wow.
My God, that
nice.
is incredible. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that and for doing that. What great work you're doing in the world. That is amazing.
We just shipped out our first 24 sets of sheets. And the bottom line is it gives a step of dignity. It's like you have some pretty sheets. They feel really good. They're yours whenever you buy or move to your next home. And we will never sell lilac sheets. We're just going to give them away.
Wow. Very
fantastic.
Kind.
That's a really important. We had a human sex trafficking survivor actually on the show talking about, they're in Dallas, Texas, and talking about, she was a survivor. It's a really riveting story. And now she created a nonprofit helping too. So yeah, I know every little bit helps. These people run on donations. So every little bit helps. So I'll put a link to that organization as well.
Oh yeah. If you go to cleandesignhome.com, and there's a tab that's called Project Lilac. Just click there. You'll even see a picture and video of Joe Torre and I that was on CBS.
Oh, fantastic.
very good, very good.
Wow. That's a great way to end the show, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Robin, thank you so much for being with us today. This was so fantastic.
Thank you. And keep doing the great work you're doing. The simple tips and tricks for your home can change your life. It's so important.
So, okay, thank you. And bravo to that. Well said. You have so much passion and knowledge to share with the world. And we thank you for making our homes a safer place for all of us to enjoy and to not just survive in, but to thrive in.
Friends, if you'd like to learn about Robin's home line now available at Macy's, head there or learn more about Robin and her line at cleandesignhome.com. They've got you and your family covered.
And you can find the links that we discussed in the show notes at ronandlisa.com/podcast. And friends, stay tuned next week. Get ready to up-level your health. We'll see you then, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
This episode of the Healthy Home Hacks podcast has ended, but be sure to subscribe for more healthy living strategies and tactics to help you create the healthy home you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best content. See you on the next episode.